This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The presidential election deadlock is growing longer. Patience is getting shorter. 3 days and counting since Election Day. The battle's not over at the ballot box and is increasingly being fought now in the court of public opinion. The Bush message to Gore, it's over. Give up. Time for you to concede. The Gore message to Bush, asking for the rule of law rather than of men and machines, is legitimate. The election is not over, and it should be decided by, quote, the will of the people, not a computer glitch. Here's the latest. In the disputed and crucial Florida vote recount, the state's own numbers from 65 of 67 counties show Bush's lead over Gore is about 960 votes out of 6 million cast. The unofficial recount of all 67 Florida counties, compiled by news organizations, has Bush leading by just 331 votes. Keep in mind the tally of Florida absentee ballots from overseas isn't complete and probably won't be until next Friday. And the Gore campaign has asked for another recount, this one by hand, of 2 million votes in 4 Florida counties. But it's not just Florida now. New Mexico has gone from the Gore column to the undecided column, and so have the state's 5 electoral votes. Now that Gore's lead there has dwindled to just about 200 votes. Republicans have hinted at mounting challenges here and other closely contested states, such as Iowa and Wisconsin. Adding to the deadlock mix, neither Bush nor Gore has the 270 electoral votes needed to win. Gore is down to an assured 255 now, with New Mexico's 5 now back in the undecided column. Florida's 25 could still decide, who the next president is. Gore continues to lead Bush in the national popular vote as the count continues to come in. The critically important story of this election limbo grows more complicated by the hour. We have a team of correspondents deployed in Florida, Texas, and Washington, D.C. to sort it all out for you. Also tonight, an exclusive talk with Vice Presidential candidate Joseph Lieberman. First to Bill Whitaker in Austin, Texas, where Governor Bush himself pressed the case for Gore to give in. Bill?
Dan, today the Bush campaign toned down the rhetoric but turned up the pressure on Al Gore. It's part of their new battle plan devised because one staffer told CBS News the campaign fears the Democrats are trying to steal the election. So they're fighting back on 3 fronts. Today, Governor Bush, wearing a Band-Aid for an infection, moved to seize the high ground.
This is certainly unprecedented in modern times. The more quickly this gets resolved, the better off it is for the nation.
Meeting with top aides he's considering for his administration, Bush sought to assure the nation he's looking ahead, even while taking a step back. Today, his campaign said he's willing to wait until Florida absentee ballots are counted next week.
I understand there's still votes to be counted, but I'm in the process of planning in a responsible way a potential administration.
While Bush played the statesman, his Florida frontman, James Baker, was fighting trench warfare, trying to block the hand recount, threatening possible retaliation.
What if we insisted on recounts in other states that today are very, very close?
He pressed Al Gore to seize this moment and bow out gracefully for the good of the country.
There is no reasonable end to this process.
Every vote counts! Every vote counts!
And while anti- and pro-Bush protesters tangled outside his mansion, his communications director continued her PR offensive, painting Al Gore as a sore loser more concerned with himself than the nation.
The Democrats are now trying to change the rules because they don't like the outcome. But that's not the way we do things in America.
I live by the Constitution. We've had 2 votes counts already, and I'm pleased with what's happened. I'm sure there's going to be some people disappointed that their man didn't get in, but there's also going to be a lot of people very happy. But our job will be to unite the country.
Now, publicly, Bush is trying to appear less eager to assume the presidency. Privately, his staffers say they are confident that when all the votes are in and counted, that Bush will be declared the President of the United States. Dan?
Bill Whitaker. The Gore campaign is digging in and underscoring the case as they see it, that the challenge in Florida is about upholding the rule of law In this case, ensuring no voters were disenfranchised by irregularities or ballot confusion and that the count is correct. The vice president has returned to his residence in Washington to wait it out. CBS's John Roberts is there. John?
Dan, the vice president is well aware that he is walking a political tightrope. If he has any hopes at all to win the White House, he needs to wring out every vote he can under Florida law. But he also must avoid at all costs any appearance of being the sore loser.
Waiting is unpleasant for all of us, but suggesting that the outcome of a vote is known before all the ballots are properly counted is inappropriate.
In a high-stakes contest of politics and public relations, the Gore campaign today cast itself as the defender of the democratic process.
I hope all Americans agree that the will of the people, not a computer glitch, should select our next president.
At the same time, Al Gore carefully avoided any perception of personal involvement, inviting the press to a Gore family game of touch football.
Mr. Vice President, are you optimistic?
I think we're going to win this game. We're ahead 6-0.
The Kennedy-esque photo op is part of a strategy to ratchet down the intensity of the past several days and buy enough time in the court of public opinion to complete a hand count of disputed ballots in 4 Florida counties. But wary of seeming too hungry for the White House, the Gore campaign dialed way back from yesterday's insinuation that a Bush victory would be illegitimate.
I hope that our friends in the Bush campaign will join us in our efforts to get the fairest and most accurate vote count here in Florida.
The Gore campaign knows that it may reach a point in the not-too-distant future when pursuing the matter any further just isn't worth it and may, in fact, be damaging. But a senior Gore campaign source told CBS News today any decision on that matter is at least a week away. Dan?
John Roberts. The heart of the action in all this isn't Washington or Austin or even Palm Beach. It's Tallahassee, the Florida capital, where today there were dueling news conferences, anger in the streets, and even state workers putting a holiday on hold. CBS's Byron Pitts is there. Byron?
Dan, I spoke to a source close to Florida's Secretary of State. He says the process has really gotten nasty because of all the partisan bickering. This job was never easy, he says. Now it's almost impossible.
Buildings closed for Veterans Day.
Officially, election workers should have been at home with their families today. But statewide, most came in voluntarily to continue this historic recount. CBS News has learned as many as 10,000 absentee ballots cast in Florida still have not been counted. All must be reported by next Friday, plus several thousand more overseas ballots, which haven't even arrived in the United States yet. It was democracy's dark side on display in Tallahassee as Bush and Gore supporters exchanged angry words. The tone was no less tense during back-to-back news conferences by the campaign's representatives. Former Secretary of State James Baker called the Gore campaign's efforts an endless game.
We will therefore vigorously oppose the Gore campaign's efforts to keep recounting over and over until it happens to like the result.
What we are seeing here is a democracy in action, a careful and lawful effort to ensure that the will of the people is done.
The people will have their votes recounted by hand in 3 Florida counties, Palm Beach, Volusia, and Broward, first thing Saturday morning. A judge will decide if there will be a hand count in Dade County next week. CBS News legal consultant Andrew Cohen believes, in the end, the vote in Florida will be decided in court.
Even if this goes to court, it's going to be resolved, I think, far in advance of either the Electoral College in December or the inauguration in January.
Today, the state board sent several election workers from across the state into South Florida, there to prepare for the all-important hand recount this weekend. Dan?
Byron Pitts in Tallahassee. If anyone out there really wants to see a U.S. presidential election end up in court, they're smart enough not to actually say so, at least not publicly so far. But with lawyers and lawsuits popping up like toadstools after a thunderstorm, it's a proposed prospect that can't be ignored. CBS's Jim Axelrod is covering that part of the story in West Palm Beach. Jim?
Dan, tonight it appears the Democratic Party may have fanned the flames of the ballot controversy here in Palm Beach County as early as Election Day afternoon. The Democratic National Committee now confirms it paid a telemarketing firm to start spreading the word about the bad news. The next morning, Democrats nationwide woke up and started talking about how the ballots were illegal. Now it's up to the courts to decide if they're right. This is the now infamous butterfly ballot. Florida law says to vote for a candidate, mark the blank space at the right of the name. But unlike every other county in the state, candidates' names here were on both sides of the ballot. The holes to punch were in the middle, meaning some holes were left of the names. This is why some voters intending to choose Gore say they voted Buchanan.
That does not comply with the statutory requirements.
Terrence Anderson is an expert on election law at the University of Miami. Even if a court agreed, what could it do? Again, Florida law. If a court finds reasonable doubt exists that a certified election expressed the will of the voters, the court is to void the contested election. Then what?
We'd like to see our clients' vote count for the people they voted for.
Attorney David Crathan has filed one of 6 lawsuits here. He is demanding a revote.
Historically speaking, revotes are rare, if not unprecedented.
Yeah, and so is this election.
Another remedy being discussed is using past results from Palm Beach County and this year's results from other counties to redistribute the Gore and Buchanan votes. Then again, the court just might let the current results stand.
There's no satisfactory remedy available.
Well, there is at least one person in Florida who sees this all very clearly. The Secretary of State who oversees elections here and who says the ballot conforms with the law in every respect. Of course, Dan, she's a Republican.
Jim Axelrod in West Palm Beach. The uncertainty over the presidential election is not sitting well with Wall Street. Big triple-digit losses today for both the Dow and the NASDAQ. Since Election Day, the Dow is off more than 3%, the NASDAQ down more than 11%. Markets don't like uncertainty. Up next, a CBS exclusive, one-on-one with Senator Joe Lieberman, hanging in and hanging tough.
Total, now with 100% calcium. Total is the only food that has 100% of the daily value of calcium in a single serving. Even before you add the milk. Total, now with 100% calcium.
I wish I was home, homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping. Home, when my music's playing.
New MSN Explorer. Everything you need to feel at home on the web, all in one place.
If your pencils look like mine did, there's something you can do. Ask your doctor if the Nicotrol inhaler is right for you. Or for more information, call 1-800-INHALER. Call today.
Talk about a torture test. I took Aleve to my 2-day walk for charity. With my bad back, I needed something that wouldn't let me down. Well, Aleve kept me going all day.
Just 2 Aleve can stop pain all day. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
Thanks, Aleve.
Do you know what your day is going to be like? I don't. I know I'll grab my lunch, or it'll grab me. And what happens if I get constipated? I can't say, "Excuse me, please, would you mind slowing down?" My chemical laxative just kicked in. So I rely on Metamucil. It's 100% natural fiber and treats my body gently. Unlike my job.
Metamucil. For irregularity, it's the doctor's natural choice.
Hello, America, how are you?
When I eat good, I feel good.
Healthy Choice helps you feel good.
We're both feeling good.
Because eating right makes a difference. And now there are 14 new meals to help you feel good. Like Southwestern rice and beans, grilled chicken with fire-roasted tomato sauce, and sirloin tips in a mushroom and wine gravy. Delicious and nutritionally balanced. They help you feel good.
I feel great.
I feel really good.
Oh. Healthy Choice. Feel good food.
After the election night no decision, the presidential and vice presidential candidates retreated to their corners and none has agreed to a one-on-one interview until now. I talked late this afternoon with Senator Joseph Lieberman and asked him how many high-level Democrats had asked him and Vice President Gore to throw in the towel.
I can only speak about myself, Dan, and the answer is 0. Not a single person has called because I think that they understand first that the recount that's occurring in Florida now is not, it wasn't even requested by us, it is required by Florida law because of the closeness of the vote.
Senator, it's my understanding that the overseas absentee ballots cannot and will not be completely all in and counted before about a week from today.
Right.
Can you see any reasonable scenario in which before that time, Vice President Gore and yourself say, we're convinced it's Bush and we concede?
Not at all. And incidentally, it's so close, and in fact, in the mechanical recount that's gone on in Florida, the one required by law, as you know, we've gained apparently about 1,500 votes from where the estimate was on election night. And that's just the machine recount. When they put the computer cards back in the calculator, we think there may be big changes in the hand recount that is beginning in 3 of the 4 counties in which we've requested it. So I don't see any conclusion here before next Friday when all of the votes will be in, and then the judgment will be up to both of the campaigns. And I'm hopeful that by next Friday, Al Gore and I will be ahead in Florida.
Senator, give me your strongest brief for why this is good for the country to have this stretch on for even another week, never mind beyond that.
Again, at this point, we're not stretching it on. When a president takes office on January 20th of 2001, that president should have emerged from an election process over which there were no clouds. That is, that everyone will feel that the election was legitimate, and therefore the authority of the incoming president will be unquestioned.
Senator, when is the last time you saw Vice President Gore?
I saw Vice President Gore on Wednesday when I left Nashville. We were together most of the day, a good part of the day, and I've spoken to him each day since then. That is Thursday and Friday.
True or untrue that he's just crushed?
Oh, no. I must say I was with Al Gore throughout the night on Tuesday, and he showed remarkable strength and balance in a very difficult circumstance. And incidentally, at the moment when the networks declared George Bush the winner in Florida and across the nation prematurely, Al Gore, I can't think of a better way to say it, took it like a man. And he said, we've got to go over it now and concede.
Senator, thank you so much, and particularly under the circumstances, to take the time to do this. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
CBS News also asked to interview Dick Cheney today. Bush campaign officials were friendly about it. They discussed the request, but then decided against it, saying they'd let the comments of former Secretary of State James Baker on behalf of the campaign stand. Senator-elect Hillary Clinton said today she would support legislation to amend the U.S. Constitution to eliminate the Electoral College. She said America is a very different country than it was 200 years ago, and that it's time to elect presidents by popular vote. Next on the CBS Evening News, the White House Leadership Club. It takes more than politics to join.
I'm ready as anybody can be. I'm ready as anybody can be. Yeah.
Are you ready to ask your doctor about Viagra? Get ready. Ask your doctor if a free sample of Viagra is right for you.
Well, I'm ready for you. I hope you're ready for me.
There will always be skeptics. You know them. They say it will never work. Never happen. Never fly. But the next time they tell you all the logical reasons why it can't be done, just remember all the times that they have been wrong.
At Gateway, we know many businesses aren't big enough to have their own computer department.
What about training for my new guy?
That's no problem too. That's why we put business centers in our Gateway Country stores.
People are hooked up to this hub.
Right. Share files, share one internet connection. Oh, cool. So if you have a question about installation or need training, you can drop on by. Why do we spend so much time with the people who use our computers? Because in Gateway Country, people rule. Stop by or give us a call.
Old English presents Love and Wood. Cynthia just married David. Her furniture is modern.
His is traditional. Will they discover Old English offers superior protection for all their wood pieces? Will they get a minivan? Tune in next time for Love and Wood by Old English.
I prefer using natural ingredients. That's why I take Beano. Beano helps prevent gas from problem foods with a natural food enzyme. It's not a drug. So if you prefer a more natural approach, prevent gas with Beano.
Interest in the Yellow Pages? Falling? Now there's something better. Switchboard.com, a free directory powered by the internet. It's business listings, it's people search, it's maps and directions, locally and nationally. So before you pick up a Yellow Pages, drop in on us instead. Switchboard.com. Think outside the book.
As the unprecedented election drama continues to simmer, stay with television's most experienced political team. Monday on the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather.
Turning briefly from politics, we'll get back to it in a minute. The Middle East crisis deepened further today. 4 Palestinians and an Israeli soldier died in West Bank fighting 1 day after Israel assassinated a commander in Yasser Arafat's Fatah militia. At the United Nations, Arafat called for a peacekeeping force to protect Palestinian civilians, an idea rejected by Israel. Each side in the grudge match over the U.S. presidency insists it is dedicated first and foremost to doing what's best for the country, implying, of course, that that involves its man ending up in the Oval Office. CBS's chief Washington correspondent Bob Schieffer has a few thoughts on that. Bob?
Well, Dan, senior people in both parties are very worried about the impact of all this on the whole political process. Just a little while ago, I talked to Bill Clinton's former White House Chief of Staff, Leon Panetta, who is dismayed at the partisan sniping coming out of both camps.
Bob, this is, I believe, the first test of whether or not either of these two candidates really can be leaders of this country. And up to this point, I have to say that neither are handling it particularly well.
I trust you would like to see the rest of the votes counted in Florida, but after that, you think it would be time to wrap it up?
What I'd like to see, frankly, instead of competing press conferences here between the two campaigns, I think it would be nice to have Jim Baker and Warren Christopher do one press conference in which they said that we're going to go through with the completed recount here in Florida. That we may challenge some of those ballots as we go through that process. We're going to get the absentee ballots, but when the Secretary of State certifies a final vote in Florida, both sides will accept that result.
Former Republican presidential candidate Bob Dole agreed.
You know, if I were Al Gore, I would ask for a recount, and he did. But I think he's had the recount, or will have, by the time the absentee ballots are in, and then we ought to move on.
House Democratic leader Gebhardt urged patience.
We got to slow down, take a deep breath, remain calm, tell all of our citizens to just remain calm.
But at a party celebrating the 200th anniversary of the White House, it was former President Ford who may have offered the most helpful advice to both candidates.
Take it from one who knows all about losing a close election. There is life after Inauguration Day.
But so far, neither Bush nor Gore seems ready to think about that. Yeah.
Bob Schieffer, thanks. You can get the very latest on the presidential election 24 hours a day on the internet at our CBS News Campaign 2000 website. The address is cbs.com. Up next here on CBS, just when they thought they were out of material.
Are you better off now than you were 2 days ago?
Attention content enthusiasts, come to Contentville. We have content, nothing but content, whatever your passion.
I really like Russian literature. Sometimes I like to bake.
Whatever your interest.
Well, I like to read. Research? I like research.
We sell content you can download, content that comes to your door.
This is different.
Content in all its glorious forms.
Content, as in something inside of a content?
No, we sell speeches, screenplays, e-books.
E-books are great.
We ship magazines within 24 hours. We have expert advice from America's leading independent bookstores, experts with independent opinions. We sell legal documents, archives, millions of books, all at great prices.
Oh, really?
Join the multitudes. Come to Contentville, where content is king and readers rejoice.
If you have arthritis pain, there's reason to celebrate. It's Celebrex.
Celebrate, celebrate, do what you like to do.
Powerful 24-hour relief from osteoarthritis pain and stiffness. Celebrex, the first arthritis medicine that targets only the COX-2 enzyme.
Celebrate, celebrate, do what you like to do.
Celebrex should not be taken if you've had aspirin-sensitive asthma or allergic reactions due to aspirin or other arthritis medicines, or certain drugs called sulfonamides. In rare cases, serious stomach problems such as bleeding can occur without warning. Tell your doctor if you have kidney or liver problems.
Celebrate, celebrate, do what you like to do.
Ask your doctor about Celebrex. Celebrex, the #1 selling brand of prescription arthritis medicine.
Celebrate, celebrate, do what you like to do.
A 4-minute mile. A pole vault of 20 feet. A perfect 10. The experts said these could never happen. What do they know?
Coming up at 6, the Gore for President campaign officially closing down, and a special report on the tickets to the Titans playoff games. Details at 6.
Well, no winner in the presidential election at the end of regulation play, so our weekly look at telling campaign comedy goes into overtime.
How stupid is this? You know, this country, we used to fight wars, we used to cure disease, we used to send men to the moon. Now we can't punch a hole in a piece of paper.
This arrow means that this is for Buchanan. This is Gore's name. There's no button here. Here's some other choices if you want Buchanan Gore.
I do not feel well about that. I don't want to take any votes that don't belong to me.
You know, America's gone through a wormhole when Pat Buchanan is the voice of fairness and reason. I'm sorry, it just...
Al Gore ordered a huge team of lawyers. Like, this thing isn't crooked enough. We're sending lawyers down there. He's airdropping them into Florida. Look at that. There they are, ladies and gentlemen.
He's now asking for the ballots in 4 Florida districts to be counted by hand.
You count his votes. You count her votes over there. Excuse me.
Yeah, and George W. Bush said, well, that'll never work. What happens when you run out of fingers? I'm confused.
Okay, son, here's the deal. We have George W. Bush is not President of the United States. Al W. Gore, not President of the United States. What do you say we just leave it that way? It's a draw. Thank you very much.
And that's part of our world tonight. Senator John McCain is among Bob Schieffer's guests Sunday morning on Face the Nation. About 60 minutes, here's Mike Wallace.
If you're concerned that MMR, the vaccine against measles, mumps, and rubella, isn't safe for your youngster, why don't you watch 60 Minutes Sunday?
Stay with CBS News for the very latest on the presidential election. Dan Rather reporting from CBS News election headquarters in New York. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
Ron Silver on the movie O.J. Simpson didn't want made on the Saturday Early Show. Experience CBS News.
Coming up on News Channel 5 at 6, the Titans could actually be